Notice right off the bat, he has a new weapon, which is his wizard staff. And he uses it in most of his normal attacks. And he is definitely now much less of a physical fighter than he ever has been before. He is a very powerful mage, and he uses it in most of his attacks. A couple normals I really wanted to talk about. Like you can see even his sweep. Instead of using his foot, he literally uses his water staff. This is definitely
I love the kick up.
It's so good.
And you'll notice the water leaves the top, gets in there, and then comes back to the top.
Right. I absolutely love it. So let's start off with a couple normals I really wanted to show. His forward 2, 1, 3 is his like really good range mid, pretty quick. He's also got forward 3, which is an overhead, into a double overhead, and he gets a pop-up. That'll be one of his most important, I think. And then one other normal I really wanted to show was a standing 4, which, even though he's no longer a ninja, he still has tremendous leg strength.
Right.
So strong that he can actually kick you across the world. Now this is an interesting one, because if you hold it, he gets a combo. And he can also cancel out of the hold to fake you out.
Okay.
There you go. See, I'm good. And let's check out his throw, which is a nice nod to the classic water bubble. He goes in with you and then you burst out. So you can see his normal attacks are very fresh and different. And I think the water effects are awesome. So you want to go into his special moves?
I think so.
So he has some really interesting zoning tools. I mean, some might even call him a premier zoner. And let's start with his straight projectile, which takes up a ton of real estate, is fairly quick, and has some interesting ways that you can change it. If you EX it, he gets a full knockdown. He can actually hold it down and get a stagger. And you can actually cancel out of this hold down. So you can mix up doing the move,
Yeah.
doing different timings, doing the EX, or canceling out of it. Keep the opponent guessing. When you have a projectile like that that takes up a ton of space, what's the one thing you know the opponent's going to try to do to beat it?
Jump?
Jump. And that's not going to be super effective because he has an anti-air version. And this has a very neat EX that actually allows him to pop up for combos.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's pretty cool. Again, it makes a full screen projectile become kind of an offensive tool up close. Now, one thing would be, well, what happens if they're using projectiles against him? And he has a water bubble where he surrounds himself in water, and any projectile is going to be negated. It'll actually just be destroyed when it hits the water bubble. And this is something that he can set up, go behind, go in the middle of.
Works as a shield.
Exactly. But if you EX it, it surrounds him and travels with him.
Kind of walk him down.
Exactly. So then you can go in, do his lows, do his overhead, all that good stuff when he has the water shield on.
Gotcha.
Now, there's other ways you can get in. He could set these water portals, and he can set them anywhere he wants. And then he can actually warp through them. So you could do cool stuff, like set one here, go in, when you want to get out, warp back to where you were. Or, when you're in, you can set one, do some fun zoning, and then use this to get back in.
Okay.
And then you can go straight into combos, fun stuff like that. Now, once you've established that you're willing to teleport or throw out some of these fireballs and the opponent's scared to move, you can start using the whirlpool. And he has close, medium, and far. These will go on the ground, and if the opponent walks into it, they get popped up for combos.
I love how he just grabs the top of his staff and
Yes,
throws it down.
it is
really
so cool looking. Another move he has is is Geyser. This is a pretty good advancing special he can 2-in-1 into, and if he EX it has armor. So it's a good wake-up attack, a good way to beat pressure, and I think it'll be one of his best combo endings. And then lastly, one more awesome full range move that kind of shows the full extent of his power.
Oh. So cool.
And this is a move that he can actually hold, or cancel and just drop down. So you can do stuff like you're doing your water ball, and what's called it a fireball, and it's literally the opposite of that. Go into this, fake out the opponent, immediately drop down. You can set up, you can do all kind of stuff. Set up portals, be doing that Thunder God move, cancel it, go through the portal, just all kind of options full screen. I think he's going to be a really interesting character to kind of freeze them up full screen to get in and start doing his mix-ups. And speaking of the mix-ups, let's kind of show how he can use his cameo and go with that. I assigned him Striker because I think a cop teaming with a wizard is the exact kind of thing you'd see in Mortal Kombat,
sure.
right? So the first thing I'll show with Striker is he has his grenade toss. Straight out of MK3, comes in, throws the double grenades. They can either go low or high. And you can imagine, these are ambush moves, which means they can come out while Rain is doing his attacks. So you can do stuff like you're doing your straight water beam while he's doing his grenades. They can also aid you in combos. So you can do stuff like...
Got it.
Striker also has a set of baton moves. He's got Cat Bop, where he comes in and does an overhead, and the classic baton sweep from MK3. So these are lows and overheads. So,
Got
great
access
example.
to both of them.
Yes.
Nice.
So, one thing you could do, you got your overhead, your opponent's stand blocking all the time because they don't want to get popped up. What am I supposed to do? Sweep them. But you can also do this in a string. So in overhead, you can do overhead, low. Then they get used to the timing. They're like, oh, I'm one of these like Ninja Killer or Sonic people with good reflexes. I can fuzzy that. Then you start doing stuff like Cop Bop. Mix it up. So just from this 50-50, he can use Striker to have more 50-50s.
That's how you beat Sonic Fox.
That's the key. That's
Got
all
it.
you have to do.
Got
And
it.
like a famous football player once said, it's more than a 50-50.
Got it.
Lastly, Striker has one more move, which I think is probably my favorite.
My favorite thing is he used a sports reference.
Well, sort of.
Half and half.
Striker comes from behind and handcuffs you. And this gives you a reset. Then you get a bunch of advantage and you can go for a mix-up.
Okay.
So you get into your combos with a handcuff move, then go in and continue your offense. So like you could start a combo with your overhead, go into the handcuffs, and then make them guess low.
Got it.
It's super fun.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So I think that's Rain and Striker, and I maybe go into his Fatal Blow.
Let's take a look.
And I'll just say Striker is my favorite Fatal Blow.
Okay. All right, that was Rain.
Yep.
Very exciting. People get their hands on Rain soon. That'll be awesome.
He's definitely not washed up.
Nope. Some